What's going on there, Raider Nation? Good evening and welcome to the Las Vegas sports scene. I'm your host, the BatFrie, Kenny Fry. I'm going solo today with our boy, Vegas Rob, the mayor of Las Vegas. Rob Hefner feeling a little bit under the weather. Sorry for the late start. My little guy, my 4-year-old, right before I was getting ready to come on at 10 o'clock, decided to regurgitate his Christmas cookies. Oh, what a time to be a parent. It was beautiful. The smell will linger with me for a while. All over my sweatshirt, my poor wife's blanket. Yeah. That wakes you up real quick. I'll tell you that right now. So getting close to Christmas. I hope everybody has their Christmas shopping at the very least started. I'm always a procrastinator. That's just what I do. It's how I operate in everything, every part of my life, good and bad. It's just I can't shake the procrastination. That's just right there with me all the time. Like the angel and the devil, procrastination's right in the middle. So let's start it off here with the big news this week. The return of Darren Waller and Hunter Renfroe. They were released off of injured reserve, and they're activated just a few hours ago. So that's great news. Hopefully, they get to play a little bit. I don't know how much they're going to play. I'd be shocked if they get a sizable amount of snaps. Haven't been out for the last I think 5 weeks. Adam Glenn checking in. What's up, Adam? Our boy Adam Glenn checks in all the time to almost all the shows. Very loyal. Big fan of all the Out of the Box sports shows. And Paul Spencer checking in. He's miserable right now, but he's all right. But yeah, so like I said, Adam Glenn, great fan of a lot of our shows. Checks into a lot, comments a lot, very active. And if you want to be active, follow us: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Like, follow, subscribe. Hit all those buttons: the heart, the thumbs up, all that good stuff. Tell all your friends about us. Parents, relatives, brothers, sisters, cats, dogs, birds, chipmunks. Some people have pet skunks. Tell your skunks about us. All that other stuff. Illegitimate children, let them know. This is where it's at. So yeah, we'll start off Waller, the Hunter Renfroe return. Like I said, I don't know how much they're going to play. Hopefully, they play enough to make an impact. Like I said, I just can't picture them playing a whole lot, being out for as long as they have been. It's gonna, game speed is totally different than practice speed. But the one thing is that they should be very healthy, well rested, and fresh. So hopefully they get a sizable amount of snaps. Just I wouldn't expect too much. It's going to be nice to have him back out there. We've been really struggling. Our main target has been obviously Devontae. And Jacobs has been catching the ball out of the backfield a good bit, and Matt Collins has stepped up a bit. He's very up and down, but he's not a true blue 2 receiver in my opinion. Anyway, I look at him as a 3 receiver, maybe even a 4. But he's done well. He has over 500 yards receiving this year. And like I said, being pushed up to the 2 role when he's not a 2 receiver, is a lot. But when you have Devontae opposite of you, that takes a lot of pressure off you. You're going to see a lot of one-on-one or soft coverage. You're not going to see top guys covering you. So you should be able to step up and make some plays, which he has off and on. And also Darren Waller back at tight end, Foster Moreau, and I don't put this on Foster Moreau at all. I think he's a good tight end. He's a very good blocking tight end. Helped out a ton in the run game. But I feel like he's a good receiving tight end. For some reason, DC just doesn't look his way. I mean, the reason is number 17 there, Devontae, but there should be more looks to Foster Moreau. It's just he gets 1 or 2 a game. It seems like 1 or 2 targets, and that's about it. And whereas Waller, when he's in there, he's getting 6 or 7 looks. I don't know why you would steer away from that, even though you don't have the caliber of a player that Waller is supposed to be in there, I would still stick with that. Your tight end gets 6 or 7 targets, still give the next guy 6 or 7 targets. I mean, you're thin at the position, you're thin at the wide receiver position. Don't change it up. Keep throwing it to the tight end, but they got away from it. So hopefully, with Waller back, they get back to throwing to the tight end, which is going to loosen up some coverage on Devontae, and with Hunter back, with all the underneath stuff that he can do, very, very creative wide receiver. If they let him be creative, if they pigeonhole him into just running simple routes and stuff like that, that's not who Hunter Renfrow is. Hunter Renfrow is a creator. He creates openings. He sits in soft parts of the zone. He and Derek had a great rapport the last 2 seasons, and now with Josh McDaniels there, it's gone away. And part of that is from what I read earlier in the season is that Josh McDaniels is more of a perfectionist. Do it this way. He doesn't want Hunter Renfrow breaking off of routes or changing up a route or whatever. Even though him and DC they seem to have been connected with a lot of those routes the past 2 seasons, especially last year. Last year Hunter Renfrow was awesome. This year when he was in, it just wasn't. He's getting limited looks to begin with, but still, when he would, it didn't look smooth, is what I'm trying to say. It looked very forced. It just didn't look the way it had, and hopefully they let Hunter get back to what he does best. And like I said, be creative, create plays, create openings, create space, and Hunter, I think, will be good. I'm going to be interested to see what they do in the offseason. If they decide to keep Hunter Renfrow, I know they just re-signed him this past year, but if he can't produce because he's being forced to run these routes a certain way and not be himself, be creative, then I just can't see a future for him in Vegas, and which is unfortunate because he's a hell of a receiver. He's a tough dude. Doesn't cause trouble with quiet. He's a work guy. It's catch the balls underneath, take the pounding, get up. 6, 7 yards, get up, line up. 5, 6, 7 yards. Those guys are very important to an offense to keep the ball moving downfield when it's 3rd and 5. There's a reason why we called him 3rd and Renfrow. The reason is because the dude got you the first down, always right at the sticks, knew where the markers are. So hopefully they get back to that, and hopefully they get back to that and he's successful, and they do decide to keep him in the offseason. And Waller, they just signed him to a huge contract, so I should, unless there's some crazy trade out there, he'll be with us for a while. So we'll move on from that. I'm glad to see those guys back. Hopefully they can make an impact. You definitely need it. This game coming up is pivotal for both teams. We'll go over the injury report, just some notable injuries. That's all. Nothing too crazy for the Patriots. You have Jalen Mills out, Damian Harris, Devontae Parker, all out. Damian Harris, running back, I believe that's pretty big because they're pretty banged up at the running back position. Questionable. Ramondre, I call him rheumatoid arthritis Stevenson because his first name is really, really weird looking. Ramondre Stevenson, he's questionable, and so is Jacoby Myers for the Patriots. I did read a couple reports that Stevenson's not going to play, but I didn't see it anywhere where it said he was out. So, and I believe his backup is Damian Harris, and he's listed out. Let me double check this real quick. I have notes written down here about the Patriots. He's rheumatoid arthritis backup, and so he's out. And if Ramondre Stevenson's out, then I'll get to that in a minute. For the Raiders, questionable. You have Josh Jacobs. If you noticed last game near the end against the Rams, got his hand banged up pretty good, but he was still out there pushing. So they call it was a pretty ugly finger injury. He's going to go, and we'll see what happens there. That could mean some more carries for for the backups. I think they're going to watch him closely to see how he's dealing with it because that's your hand. I mean, that could lead to fumbles. It could lead to drop passes. It could lead to a lot of things, or it could lead to a more serious injury where you're getting surgery and plates and screws and nuts and bolts and shit like that in your hand. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. Also, Billings, uh, he's questionable. Jermaine, here's his name, Jermaine Ulemanor. He's questionable. Denzel Perryman, questionable. And Jackson Barton's questionable. All those guys expected to play. As far as I read, they're all expected to play. The guys that are out, Alex Bars is a pretty good one. He's been playing well at guard, but he got hurt against the Rams. I think it was fairly early in the game, if I remember correctly. And Rocky Yassin, he's out. Our secondary's trash with him. Our secondary's trash without him. Who the hell cares if he's out? Who the hell cares? He doesn't make a difference. Nobody in that secondary makes a difference. They need to revamp that whole secondary. So that is what it is. Beginning of the year, he looked okay. Was graded high in Pro Football Focus, but that doesn't mean a hill of beans. It doesn't matter how you're ranked in Pro Football Focus. Your secondary's giving up 280, 290 yards passing per game. You're part of that secondary. No interceptions. You're not turning the ball over. You're getting turnovers. It doesn't matter. So that's the injury report for the game coming up. Notable injuries. There's a whole host of other ones. I'm not going to go through them because either they've been on the injury report for a while or they just guys that really don't make a difference that much. I mean, everybody makes a difference. Everybody makes a difference, but they're names that don't directly affect usually the outcome. So we'll move on to the Raiders-Pats preview. So like I said before, this game is huge for both, especially the Patriots. The Raiders sitting at 5-8, still an outside shot, but I wouldn't bet any money on it. My biggest thing is and always has been, always will be. All you got to do is just make the tournament. Make the tournament, no matter what sport it is, and anything can happen. So if you make it at 9-8, a lot of people will huff and puff about it. Like, oh, they don't deserve to be there. They play like garbage. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just make the tournament. Anything can happen. Somebody gets hot. Anything can happen. Looking at baseball, the Phillies, they just had to make the tournament. Make it, and they took it all the way to the World Series, and they were a goddamn buzzsaw through the playoffs. And that's all you have to do, just make it. And but I don't expect the Raiders to make it, especially you have the Patriots, which is, like I said, is a huge game because they're in a playoff hunt. The Steelers, I think, are behind the Raiders, but then you have the Queefs and you have the 49ers, and those are two crazy tough games. Even though the 49ers have clinched already, I don't know if they'll rest starters or not, but I don't know if it would matter. Paul says, let me put it up there first. At playoffs, every team starts at 0-0. Absolutely. Every team starts at 0-0 playoff time. So it doesn't matter your record. You get in there. We seen with Seattle a few years back, 7-9 getting into the playoffs. And then they end up rolling. Was it the Saints, I think? I think it was the Saints when we had the beast mode game with Marshawn Lynch with that insane run. I wish if I would have thought about it, I would have put a clip in of that run. That run's just amazing to watch every single time. But yeah, they were 7-9, made the playoffs as a division champion. That division was trash, and they ended up winning the game, in advance and knocking a team out. So it doesn't just it doesn't matter what your record is going into it. Everybody starts off at 0-0. And with 7 teams making it now, only one team gets to bye. The number 1 seed gets to bye. You have 6 teams playing that opening weekend. Anything can happen. Giants wild card to Super Bowl. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, was that the year they beat the? I guess both years they beat the Patriots. Uh, was that the 17 or the undefeated Patriots year, or I don't know. But I know they won in. The record wasn't great. It might have been 9-7 or something like that. But all the way to the Super Bowl. I mean, the Raiders were the first wild card team to win the Super Bowl, so it's anything can happen. The Patriots, as of right now, as it sits today, they are sitting right now in the 7th seed. The Patriots are right now with the Jets and I think the Ravens on their heels. I think I could be wrong about that. With the Ravens playing today, yes, as the Patriots undefeated season. Our boy Vegas Rob, a little bit under the weather. Get well soon, Rob. He said that was the undefeated Patriots season. So there's a lot more on the line for the Patriots than there are the Raiders. The Patriots, they also a roller coaster season, up and down, up and down. Started off, I think 1-3 or 1-4. Looked very, very shaky. Were able to reel off a couple wins. Now they're kind of trading wins a little bit. I think they won 3 in a row. Then they lost 2 recently. Then they just won. They beat Arizona last week. Beat them pretty handily. I think it was 27-14 or 26-13 or something like that. 24-17 maybe. So they're coming off a nice win against Arizona. The Raiders coming off a absolutely hideous defeat against the Rams. We talked about that last show, so I will not talk about that trash again. And not going to do it. It ain't going to happen. So a couple of the key players into the game coming up. I was looking some Patriots stats up. You have, of course, the quarterback Mac Jones. I thought he was having a better season than his stats said. I do know he was benched a few weeks ago. I don't remember who it was against. I don't think it was against the Jets. I think it was the next game possibly. Paul says Ravens 9-5, Dolphins 9-5, and the Hunt. Patriots said that the Chargers were the other one. The Chargers and the Jets are 7-6. They're sitting just outside the last spot. Chargers, Jets, and I was really surprised when I was going over stats for these Patriots how poorly Mac Jones has played this year. Granted, I think there was a game or two where he didn't play. But as it sits right now, he has 2,198 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 8 picks. And out of his 7 touchdowns, 4 of those have come in the last 5 games. I mean, so he's had a really, really off season. Much heralded after last season. He played well last season. And they're looking at him as the future, but now it's not so certain. I don't remember who the backup's name is that stepped in for him. Zippy or I don't know what the hell is. I think it was Zippy or Zeppy. But he played well for a little bit. Then he went into the next game and he stunk it up. So it looks like the Patriots are a little bit hurting at the quarterback position unless Mac Jones is gonna Zappy. Yes, Zappy. I knew it started with a Z, Paul. A Z for Zeus. And the Patriots a little bit weak as of right now at quarterback position. I think Mac Jones could be a very good quarterback. He's shown glimpses of it. So it's not time to shut the door on a Mac Jones error in New England, but if I'm New England, I kind of look around a little bit and maybe either through the draft again. I would look at a veteran quarterback, try to bring somebody in, either to push Mac Jones a little bit more, or say, this isn't working. It's time to pull you out and go in a different direction. But I would look to see in the offseason what kind of veteran quarterbacks. Nobody that's been in the league 17 years or anything like that, or like Tom Brady 25 years, but somebody that's 5-6 years into the league that had a chance or two that just looking for that next shot. That's a middle of the road kind of quarterback, somebody that's very serviceable, and then start looking to your quarterback of the future again. I mean that it hampers so many teams. That one position. If you don't have a good quarterback, a serviceable, you don't need a great quarterback. If you don't have a good quarterback, I mean it's really really hampers you. I mean just look at Tennessee. I mean Tannehill's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback, and they're every year they're in the playoffs. Every year they're winning division. Every going to the AFC Championship games or at least a step away. So you don't need a great quarterback to win in the NFL. You just need somebody that's good and then have a great team built around them. Paul says they need to surround him with weapons. Devontae Parker and Aguilar are your 1-2. That absolutely does not cut it. You're absolutely right there, Paul. And that's something they can address through the draft or again through the free agency market. I don't know who's going to be available in the offseason. I haven't looked that far ahead yet, but I'm sure there's going to be guys either through trade or free agency. But yeah, when Nelson Aguilar and Devontae Parker are 1 and 2. I mean, Aguilar was our one. I think that was 2 years ago, and he played well. But I mean, we had nobody else to throw to. So when he was in Philly, he was awful. He couldn't catch anything. Everything was in and out of his hands. And but when he was with, I think he was with the Raiders when they were in Oakland still, and he actually played really really well. But he was our only option, And I was really actually surprised that they didn't re-sign him because we had nobody else when he left. But things have worked out well with Davante Adams. Like I said about the rushing, Ramondre Stevenson, questionable. He's their leading rusher with 742 yards and four touchdowns. And Damian Harris is out. So there's your top 2 running backs. And like I said, I read a couple of reports saying that Stevenson's going to be out. So it's going to be really interesting to see if he plays or not. If he doesn't play, then you're down to a couple rookies. And they both played against the Cardinals. They both played well against the Cardinals. But the one rookie, Pierre Strong Jr., he has five carries in his career. 4 of them, he had 6 carries in his career. 5 of them came against the Cardinals. He still had 70 yards rushing against the Cardinals. One was a big 44-yard run, and he also had a short touchdown run. But they also had Kevin Harris, who was a 6th-round pick out of South Carolina. He had a 14-yard run versus the Cardinals. So they're really thin at the running back spot. I was reading that they could bring somebody up from the practice squad to kind of round it out to fill it out, but a lot's gonna depend on what's gonna happen with Stevenson. And even if he does give it a go, what kind of shape is he gonna be in? So it's gonna be probably a heavy rotation if Stevenson does go. If he doesn't go, those 2 rookies are going to have to carry the load, and which it seems that they can. They both. I did see that 44-yard run by Strong. Dude has some giddy up to him. So it might be good for the Patriots to see what they have there in the backfield. This might be like a silver lining type of deal. And then it was interesting at wide receiver. We were just Paul commented about Devontae Parker and Aguilar as their 1-2. The Patriots tried something yet you don't see a whole lot of anymore. They tried a defensive back at wide receiver, a dual threat kind of guy, a guy that's super athletic, super fast, and they were able to get him the ball a couple times. Marcus Jones. So are we going to see more of him at wide receiver? Also, Jacoby Myers. He has 593 yards receiving, 50 catches. Parker's at 462 receiving yards, and Aguilar 359. Hunter Henry 400 yards receiving, 406 yards receiving. So they have a couple threats, but nothing really that stands out. Their offense has just not been very good all season. Just looking through some of the scores, not a whole lot of high-scoring games. They have put some points up in some certain games, but there's a lot of A lot of low 20 games, high teen games. Not a whole lot of yards put up. Their defense uh, gets a decent amount of turnovers. It seems like it really helps them out with short field type stuff. I'm not sure how if their defense has scored at all. I'm sure they have. When I was looking at it, it seemed like quite a few turnovers, quite a few picks. But their defense has been pretty much their the star of the show there in New England, and they've been up and down too, but they've been mostly up with linebacker Josh Olch. He has 10.5 sacks. Matt Judon, he's up to 14.5. He's second in the league with sacks. And like I said, with the interceptions, I don't remember exactly how many interceptions they have. But Devin McCourty has a couple picks. Jones, he has 3 picks. Jalen Mills, he has a couple picks. Just going through the whole roster, it's quite a few guys with 2 or 3 picks. But they're near the top half of the league in interceptions and turnovers. And we know Derek. He's been a little bit turnover prone those last 3 or 4 games. Even during our little mini winning streak we had, where we won those 3 games in a row, I think he had 3 interceptions in those 3 games. One game was 2 interceptions. He did have three touchdown passes that game. But it's going to be interesting to see how our offensive line holds up. We're banged up a little bit. We also released Lester Cotton Sr. He wasn't a starter. Did appear in 10 games. He only started 1. He had a great preseason. I heard a lot of talk about Lester Cotton, but after the beginning of the season, it kind of just dropped off a little bit. Alex Barr's really stepped up, and now with him out, I was really surprised that they released Lester Cotton with Barr's being hurt. They did bring somebody up out of the practice squad, or they signed somebody from the practice to the practice squad. I don't remember if it said if they signed him from the practice squad then. But it's our offensive line is kind of being patched up a little bit. Ulemanor hurt. So it's going to be interesting to see what that Patriots defense, those 2 outside linebackers, Ulch and Judon, with coming off the edges like that, that's scary. That's those 2 guys have more sacks than our whole team does, and that's sad to say, but they have what? They have 24.5 sacks. I think I have the Raiders. We have 25 sacks. No, yeah, we have 25 sacks. So it's really close, and that's sad. It's really sad with a guy like we have with Max Crosby. He has 11.5 of those sacks, but we only have 25 sacks. We have Chandler Jones now 4.5 sacks, and 4 of those sacks came in the last 2 games. So it's our offensive line is going to get a workout, and I'll tell you, they don't give up a whole lot of sacks, but I didn't see I didn't see any stats on the amount of pressures that we give up. It has to be near the top. Derek seems like he's always under pressure. Either he's getting the ball out to somebody, quick check downs, or he's able to roll out and get past the line of scrimmage to save the sack. But it's really bad. Or he's running an interception because he's getting sacked. There's a lot of pressure on him. Just like to let everybody know, we have a live Christmas show next Thursday at 8 p.m. We're gonna have all the hosts come on and chit chat and talk a little bit about out of the box sports and stuff like that, and Christmas time stuff. So it should be a pretty neat show. Talk about what we're thankful for in the holidays and stuff. So it should be pretty neat to see. It's going to be pretty cool to do, to get on with all the guys all at once. I'm looking forward to it Thursday at 8 p.m. So make sure you check it out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch at 8 p.m. I'll remind you throughout the week. It should be a lot of fun. Paul says Judon off the edge is nasty. Absolutely. And I was watching highlights of him earlier today, and it's he's fast. He's fast and he's strong. And wearing that, I think he's wearing number 9 or 5 or something like that. He's wearing a single digit jersey, and it's almost like he is like a running back or a wide receiver or something. Like you see a lot of college wide receivers wearing single digits now in the pros and stuff. He just so fast around that edge. It's unreal. He's going to be a headache. So I mean, with that being said, if I'm the Raiders, you're going to be using. I would assume a lot of 2 tight end sets, keeping a tight end in to help block him, and Ulch, you know, Josh Ulch, with 10.5 sacks, and he's been in and out of lineup also throughout the season, so it's not like he's an every week starter. Yep, Judon, I said a few minutes ago, second in the league with 14.5 sacks. Who's first? Is it Parsons? Is it the dude from the Cowboys? Parsons first with sacks, or I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, so the way to combat that is play action pass, keeping a tight end in, having a running back chipping, but it's both sides. You have to hope that Colton Miller can shut one of those sides down. Bosa, there it is. Yes, thank you, Paul. Bosa, 15.5 sacks. I just seen that stat a couple days ago with Bosa playing Thursday Night Football. I just could not think of his name. For some reason I thought it was the Cowboy linebacker. So yeah. I'd look a lot towards play action pass, a lot of running. I think it's gonna be a lot of running, and with Jacobs being banged up, I'd expect Zamir White and Amir Abdullah to get some carries to ease the hits on Jacobs. Some Jacob stats here real quick. I like going over stats. I'm a stats guy. He's at 1,402 rushing yards. That's first in the league, but he's also second in carries with 269. He has 44 catches for 346 yards, which gives him a total of 1,748 yards for the season and 11 touchdowns. Derek Carr, 3,107 yards, 20 touchdowns, 10 picks, a 62% completion percentage, which is not good at all in today's NFL. It should be up in the upper 60s to close to 70 now, because a lot of the passing game in today's NFL is a lot of mid to short range type stuff, and it's just he throws it short and mid. It's not been a good year for Derek. I mean, 20-10 isn't terrible. I think we'd be a lot worse off with any other quarterback. I think Derek has given us a chance. He's won some games for us. He's also lost some games for us. That first half of the Rams game, I still cannot get over why he threw that pass into the end zone and just lobbed it over. Tried lobbing it over a couple defenders and lobbed it right into the linebacker's arms instead of just running the ball or taking the sack, get the field goal up 16-3 at half, or I don't know if it was. I think it would have been I think it would have been 16-3 at half. And but no, he threw that pick and no points out of it, and just it bit us in the ass. I mean, I understand when to make the play, but Devontae Adams only had 3 catches for 70 yards last week, 71 yards. Targeted him 7 times, just couldn't get him the ball. A couple missed opportunities where he was open, and Derek overthrew him. But as of right now, he has 82 catches for 1,247 yards and 12 touchdowns. Really good season. I think he's third in receiving yards, tied for first with receiving touchdowns. Mac Hollins, our second receiver, 47 catches for 588 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like I said, Mac, he's been decent. He's not a 2 receiver. He's more like a 3. Now with Renfro back, I still assume that Matt Collins is going to be a 2 because I don't think Renfro's a 2 either. I think Renfro's a really good 3. Um, but it's a little bit less pressure on Matt Collins. So maybe when I see bigger things out of Mac, and with Darren Waller back, it's going to be interesting to see how they use Waller and Renfro. A lot of that's going to dictate how the game's going. I think if we're able to use them a lot and use them in good situations, key situations, and get them the ball, especially early, I think that's going to really help our offense. And it's going to make the Patriots defense back off the rush a little bit more. So that's it's going to be it's going to come down to the rush from the Patriots, and if Derek can take care of the ball. If he's under pressure and he's just swinging the ball wherever, they're going to pick him off. And no one with the Raiders' luck that we have, it'll be pick sixes. So we don't want that. So hopefully they can give Derek some time. Hopefully the play calling, is matched up to what the pressure is. If they're getting a lot of pressure, hopefully they're calling shorter pass plays, more runs. If they're stacking the box, and stuff like that, passing the ball. Because if I'm the Patriots, I make them pass it. Make the Raiders pass it, and let our linebackers or outside linebackers, Judon and Ulcha, let them eat. Feed them. Bring them off the edge. Make the Raiders pass. Waller healthy opens up some much more. For Renfro and Hollins. He is a hybrid tight end. It's huge. Like I said, it's dependent on how much they're going to be able to play Renfro and Waller. Game speed, game conditions, a lot different than practice. And these teams are very familiar with each other. Also, they spent a lot of time practicing and scrimmaging against each other in the preseason. A lot of time. So they're very familiar with Waller. They're very familiar with Renfro and what they can do. And put with Waller in there, I think he's a bigger threat and asset right now than what Renfro is. Because, like you said, Paul, he's a hybrid tight end. I think with Renfro in there, it's going to open up more lanes for the wide receivers, whether it's Renfro, Hollins, or Keelan Cole, who from time to time gets his name announced on the television box for being out in the field and having a pass thrown his way, either catching it, dropping it, or underthrown, overthrown. Belichick versus Daniels, who has the advantage? So last time McDaniels coached against Belichick, McDaniels beat him with the Broncos. So I think McDaniels is in his head. He has one on the old coach there, the old master, and it's Belichick's such a great schemer. That's the one thing you can't take away from Bill. He takes your strength and makes it your weakness. And he takes your weakness and exposes it even more. So it's really, that's why his defenses are usually so good. Is because he's such a great schemer, especially defensively. He's always been a defensive-minded coach, and that's why you've like Josh McDaniels was such an asset for him. So Josh McDaniels is a very good OC. Never count out Belichick. Yeah, Yoda. Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the keys is how Belichick's going to scheme the Raiders. What's he going to take away from us? Is he going to take away Devontae? Is he going to bracket him in? Is he going to double him to try to take him away? That's where it's going to be huge to see how much Waller and Renfro is going to play. Hopefully it's more than half the snaps. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm optimistic. I think realistically, I'd say it's probably less than half. But optimistically, I hopefully it's more than half. I'd be really, really surprised if it's more than half. I'd be happy also though to see those guys back and out in the field and producing. When they were out there, they weren't producing either though. Waller wasn't getting the ball thrown his way all that often. Renfro wasn't getting his ball thrown his way at all. So either when they were out there, they weren't out there. It's a different team now, though. Earlier when they were there, we weren't running Jacobs as much. We're running him much more, focusing on becoming a more balanced team, which we got away from against the Rams. I thought the Rams was a very good run defense, and they didn't shut Jacobs down, but he rushed 99 yards, but his yards per carry were less than 4 yards. I think that might have been the first time this season where his yards per carry were below 4 yards. And that's what the Rams do. And that's kind of like what the Patriots do also. I think they hold they've held every rusher below 4 yards per carry, I believe, or at least their average is below 4 yards. I don't know what that is, Adam. CRA. Maybe saying see ya. I don't know. You'll have to elaborate. So that's what I'm looking at for the preview for the Raiders. Paul says, "Wonder if this game will be exciting and crazy as the Colts Viking game." I don't know if you guys saw that game today, Colts Vikings, but when it was 33-0, I'm sitting there thinking like there's a whole half. Vikings have a great offense, but could they really put up 30 plus points in a half against the Colts defense? It's not great, but it's not terrible either. It's an okay defense. They do have some decent defensive players. It was just amazing, and it's there's calls against the Vikings too, and they're still able to come back and take that in overtime and win it in overtime, 39-36. It was just absolutely insane. I do remember watching the Bills-Oilers playoff game where Frank Reich brought the Bills back. I think they were down 35-3 as a 32-point deficit. And I never thought I would see another game like that again. And then you had the Super Bowl with with Matt Ryan where it was 28-3, and that lead was lost. So he's now the benefit of two records. The record for the biggest blown Super Bowl lead and the record for the biggest regular season blown lead, 33 points. Outscored 39-3 in 30 minutes. That's insane. Absolutely insane. It's inexcusable. So I wouldn't expect this is going to be a shot in the dark here, but I wouldn't expect Jeff Saturday back next year. The experiment did not work. All the ex-coaches were pissing and moaning about, they need to give somebody that's in a system a chance. They just can't be pulling people off the street. And then the experts saying on the radio box, what's going to happen if Saturday does well, then they're going to just start pulling all sorts of former players who have no coaching experience off the street and, coaching them, having them coach. It ain't going to happen. We've seen it. I want to say it's a lack of preparation or game planning. It's not, he doesn't have the experience. It just shows, besides that first game against the Raiders, it's pretty much shown that he's not ready for it. And I think Jeff Saturday's a smart guy. Centers are some of the smartest people on the field. They got to direct the whole offensive line. They're calling out plays and stuff like that. They know what's going on, but it's a different world when you're coaching. You're out there playing. Hefner says Matty Ice choked today for the Colts. I don't know. I don't know. They lost their top running back. Super, super conservative play calling. Even when every time the Vikings are score a touchdown, they come back. Run, short pass, punt. It's so it's. I don't know if I wouldn't put this on Matty Ice. I mean, granted, when a ball was in his court and he was starting to pass it again, he didn't really move it anywhere. But a lot of conservative play calling from points to 0 all the way up to 21 to 28. It's there was just, I think it was piss poor play calling. You see them starting to score touchdowns. After that second touchdown, I'm back to my old offense. I'm back to trying to throw, trying to get downfield, chunk plays and whatever was working in the first half. Adam says they played good. Yeah, that is a tale of two halves for the Vikings. It is really impressive, and you can see how it is against the Colts, but you can see how scary good the Vikings can be. You also see how shitty the Vikings can be. They're like a Jekyll and Hyde 11-3 team right now, where they could be the worst 11-3 team, or they could be the best 11-3 team. It's really odd to see. They're either the real deal or they're fake as shit. Paul says that's 2 collapses, 30 plus twice this year by the Colts. Dallas 33 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that was just recently. Cowboys. It was a tight game going to the fourth quarter, and the Cowboys just lit them up in the fourth. They put up 33 points in the fourth quarter, and it was a blowout. Then. Adam said they play good for him. Give him a year with this team. Absolutely not. No way. Just Saturday's done, buddy. Maybe on the coaching staff, let him learn some more, and then possibly bring him back. But it'll be insane, absolutely mind-boggling, insane if they give him a contract to be the head coach next year. Paul says, to me, it's play calling, not Matty Ice. Up 33-0, you play to protect the lead. They went away from the game plan. Absolutely, that's what happens. You see it time and time again. Not with that amount of a lead, but you see it time and time again. Coaches get a multiple score lead, and they change the game plan up. Ramp it up. This is the NFL, man. This isn't the crybaby league. Ramp it up. Let it go. Keep putting points up. And back to the Patriots. Belichick used to get a hard time with this, especially when they were rolling with Randy Moss and stuff like that. They're rolling points up. They're throwing it deep up by like 3 or 4 scores. And people are like, well, that's not sportsmanlike. And Bill Belichick's like, this is the NFL, man. You don't know what could happen. They could easily just come back and score 4 touchdowns in a quarter. We've seen it now. Like Paul said, the Cowboys put up 33 points against the Colts in the fourth quarter this year. And now the second half, the Vikings put up 39 points. Second half in overtime. So it's 100% play calling. You can't go that conservative. I mean, I understand wanting to eat some clock up, but that whole third quarter, they should be out there, especially after what happened to them a few weeks ago against the Cowboys. That whole third quarter, they should be out there trying to get more points. They weren't doing that. They were happy just to sit on that 33 points, even though it shouldn't have been that score. There was a couple plays in that first half where the Vikings kind of got boned through either there was that fake punt that they ran that it was there, and the punter just overthrew it. And I think there was also a fumble that they said that forward progress was stopped or whatever, which it was debatable. It was a lot closer to being I don't know what I was going to say there. I lost it. But yeah, that was his forward progress was close to being stopped. It was kind of touch and go, so I understand that. But that could have went either way. Went against them there in that one. And then in the second half, that fumble, it should have been easily a scoop and score, but they called it dead for whatever reason. I mean, it's the dude was still straight up upright, got hit once, dropped the ball, and they called it dead. I don't understand why or how. So the officiating in that game, I thought was really shoddy at best. And which led to some really weird shit. That's just really weird stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't put that on Matty Ice at all. Not at all. So the Raiders defense against the Patriots, they need to put the pressure on Mac Jones. I thought we've done well against the run this year. Up in the middle, Bilal Nichols and stuff like that. He's done well up the middle. Denzel Perryman I feel like he's done well. Just running around making tackles. We need Chandler Jones and of course Mad Max to put pressure on the Patriots offensive line. They do give up a decent amount of sacks. So they're there to be had. One of the things that they've been doing more of is getting the ball out of Mac Jones' hands quicker. So that's going to lead to a lot of pressures, but no sacks. But that also gives opportunity for our defensive players to read the ball quick and potentially go for some turnovers, which we don't get a whole lot of, which I said earlier in the show. But even some even tip passes, it's going to come out 2.5 seconds, 1-2 hands up. 1-2 hands up. You're not going to get there. Get those hands up. That's one of the things I learned from the great coach, my high school football coach, Coach Kevin Keating. You're not going to get there. Get those hands up. 1-2, get those hands up. It's coming out quick. Get those hands up. If you're not going to get there, hands up and jump. You don't know what you just affect that pass. Get in the sight line. With potentially a couple rookie running backs going, this game's there for the Raiders to take. And like I said, it's a huge game for the Patriots, bigger for the Patriots than the Raiders. It'd be nice to play a spoiler a little bit, especially against those dirtbags Patriots. Never forget, tuck rule. Never forget tuck rule. Still a fumble. I don't care what the hell you say. So we're going to go to final score prediction. I went back and forth on this one for a little bit. But I do think the Raiders are going to win. Legit, straight up, this isn't just Homer Ken here. I do think the Raiders are going to win. I'm going to take it 31-24. That's my prediction. Raiders 31-24. I think our running game is going to be big. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be all Josh Jacobs. I think Zamir White. I think he's going to. I have a feeling that Zamir White's going to have a big game. Paul, 27-24 Raiders. Great show. Thank you, buddy. And the little BatFrie, I'm sure he's asleep already. He's I'm telling you, it's a sight to see when kids throw up. That's the smell is still with me. I can't handle it. So that was my prediction. 31-24 Raiders. Paul has 27-24. Like I said earlier, the Raiders waived Lester Cotton Sr. for some reason. I'm not 100% sure as to why. We need a depth at offensive line. Personally, I think this is more of like a future move. This is just looking ahead to the future already. He's not going to be with us in the offseason. Just cut it now and be done with it. It is what it is. So we'll move on from that. A couple UNLV hires Bobby Petrino as offensive coordinator. Coach Odom there for the running Rebels, UNLV Rebels. That's a pretty big hire. Petrino, made his splash in coaching with as an offensive, creative offensive play caller, and he had that job in Arkansas. He was doing well in Arkansas, and then he had that motorcycle accident, and the whole extramarital affairs came out and all that other stuff, and he lost his job there. He's kind of been blacklisted a little bit. I think I read he was at Missouri State or South Missouri State, or he was coaching the Mud Dogs there in southeastern Louisiana State. I don't know. But so he's back D1 and or whatever you want to call it, FBS. And so the OC. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Rebels can do with him there. See if they can get back on the winning track a little bit. The mayor checks in, major hire for UNLV football. Absolutely, I agree, Rob. And I don't know a whole lot about UNLV football. When I seen that come across the wire a few days ago, I I was really surprised and I was impressed. That's a really big hire. It's a big name and a big offensive guy. And you go, that could bring in certain recruits too. Adam Glenn says Pats win. Belichick finds a way to win. Well, Adam, I don't think so. Hey, Adam, you have a score for that? Rob, where's your score at? So Bobby Petrino to as the OC to UNLV football, and also the running Rebels finally lose. They were 10-0. They lost to University of San Francisco the other day. So now they're 10-1. Long season. College basketball is such a long season. You know, they're only halfway through it right now, and so yeah, it's but yeah, the Rebels, the running Rebels, had a really great start to season. You know, good to get that loss out of the way now than later in the season when it matters. The mayor, Vegas Rob, says 27-24 Raiders. What about you, Adam Glenn? What do you got, buddy? Where's your score at? Talking all the time. So then finally, the last topic is the Holly Jolly Top 10. If you don't know, I love Top 10 lists. I like doing them. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, so and let me know. So this is the top 10 Christmas movies / Christmas specials. And I like to. I'm not sure like how you view, the shows Frosty or Santa Claus is Coming to Town or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They're not really a movie. They're more of a special, so that's why I consider them a special. So that's why I said top 10 Christmas movies / specials. Got a comment here real quick. Adam Glenn, 31-24 Patriots. So yeah, took my score and just flipped the winner. All right, so top 10. Here we go. Number 10, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jingle All the Way. Love that movie. Great movie. Funny as shit. Him and Sinbad. They cracked me up looking for that Turbo Man and stuff like that. I thought Sinbad was really funny in the movie. And Phil Hartman. Love Phil Hartman. So funny. And you have Arnold Schwarzenegger punching a reindeer in the face. You can't beat that. What spells Christmas more than Arnold Schwarzenegger punching a reindeer in the face and giving it beer later on? That's Christmas right there, man. Number 9, Frosty the Snowman cartoon. I like that one, but it's not one of my favorites. But I do like it. I like watching it every when it comes around to this time of year. Number 8, The Santa Claus. I think it's a terrific movie. Tim Allen. I really like the way they set the story up, like with the Santa Claus. How there's a Claus, he who puts on the suit is now Santa Claus. All that other good stuff, and the transformation, and the use of tinsel as a jailbreak to get Santa out of jail, breaking him out of jail. There, it's very, very good stuff. Number 7, Jim Carrey's Grinch. Great live action Grinch. Jim Carrey's hilarious. Martha May, she's something else. She'd get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Jim Carrey's hilarious in that. And it's just you can't really go wrong with any Jim Carrey movie, but The Grinch, it's one of his top movies in my opinion. Number 6 is The Grinch cartoon. Well, so you can't. Everybody knows The Grinch cartoon. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Everybody knows that. Iconic. Number 5, I have Home Alone. And who hasn't dreamt that somebody would break into their house and you could beat the shit out of them with all sorts of traps and stuff like that? That's every kid's dream. That's my dream now as an adult. To be able to beat the shit out of somebody with a paint can that breaks into my house, or throw little micro machines, so they step on them or tar their face and shit like that. That's my dream now. Anyway, my baggage. Number 4, A Christmas Story. Uh, I debated on this one. I like A Christmas Story. I don't love A Christmas Story, but I know so many people do. Uh, yeah, they do the 24-hour thing and stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, it's not my it's all right for me. But I have it at number 4. Number 3, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It gets a bad rap because of the bullying aspect. Rudolph's father is he's a dick. He's a dick in the show. But I think overall has a good message and stuff like that. Overcome your, it doesn't matter what your differences are and stuff like that, or if you have a different color, different anything, it doesn't make you any less or anything like that. So I think overall there's a good story to it. Cornelius is the man looking for silver and gold, and licking his little pickaxe. That's whenever I use pickaxes, the first thing I do is lick the tip. That came out wrong. At number 2, I have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's so funny. It's from him being stuck up in the attic watching the old movies. When they open the ladder and he falls down, that kills me. To the rant that he has before Eddie goes and kidnaps his boss. To the neighbors next door. I mean, it's cutting down the tree. He forgets the saw, so that shows the wagon with the freaking tree on top, and the roots are everywhere. It's such a terrific movie. And so number 1, I have a tie. So I have a movie and I have a Christmas special. And I figured what better way to do that. So my number 1 for Christmas special was Santa Claus Comes to Town. I love that. I'll watch that 100 times out of 100 during Christmas. Any time of day. I just say I really like that. I don't know what it is. If it's a school teacher, she's got it going on there for old Kris Kringle. Or the Kringle elves, Kringle, Dingle, Pringle, Sningle, all the other Dingles and stuff like that. I get a kick out of them. The old man Winter, he sees something else in his little robe and stuff like that. He kind of forgetful then. It seems like kind of frail. He lost his powers and stuff. To the I can't think of the character's name in the town that doesn't want the kids to have the toys, where then he steps on a toy and he falls, and now he's in crutches and a wheelchair and stuff like that. Where's the toys coming from? Kills me every time. And so my number 1 movie is, of course, Elf with Will Ferrell. So funny. Great family movie. You can't go wrong. Will Ferrell. The snowball scene is really good, where when the kid's kind of like thinks that Buddy the Elf is kind of like a dork or whatever. He's like a weird dude dressed as an elf. What's up with this guy? Then they're getting pelted with the snowballs, and he's like, no, we could take him. And then, the kid makes a snowball. He has one done, and there's Buddy the Elf with 100 snowballs. He's like, what the hell's going on with this guy? Then he just starts chucking them. That's awesome. Yeah, and pelts the kid running away. Takes a long shot. Good stuff there. So that was my top 10. Don't be afraid to hit us up and let us know what your favorite Christmas special or Christmas movie is. There's a couple I left off here that are really hard to leave off that I enjoy. But such is life. Oh well, get over it. So I'm gonna do the clip for our shows and sponsors, and I'll be back in 1 minute and 6 seconds. So there's our shows and sponsors. A lot of great shows. Something for everybody in there. I'm telling you. So some new shows coming up in the new year. We just debuted our fantasy football show earlier this week. So make sure to go back and check that out before the games tomorrow. And yeah, lots of good stuff on the horizon here for Out of the Box Sports. We have a comment before I check out here. Adam Glenn wants to know, do I have a show next week? Adam, we are not going live next week for the Las Vegas sports scene. I will be on again this Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Bat Cave, talking Mets baseball. Lots of Mets news, lots of baseball news to get to. And yeah, since I've been on last with the Bat Cave, that's 2 weeks ago. There's been a lot of stuff happened. So there's a lot of stuff to go over Mets wise anyway. And so yeah, but there will not be a Las Vegas sports scene on Saturday due to the holidays. But check us out Thursday at 8 p.m. Adam, as we have our Christmas special, Out of the Box Christmas special. We have all the hosts on. Make sure you're on, Adam. Okay, as one of our top fans are always in here, always putting comments out there and stuff like that. Super important to us. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Adam. Yeah, so make sure you check us out 8 p.m. Thursday. Let's do Vegas Rob's list here. Number 10, Bad Santa. Number 9, Four Christmases, which is a really funny movie. I didn't think I'd like that, but I thought it was hilarious. Number 8, Elf. 7, Family Man. I had never seen that, I don't think. 6, The Grinch, Christmas special, and Jim Carrey movie. I'll lump them together. 5, Santa Claus. 4, Santa Claus 2. Santa Claus 2 was pretty good. 3, Home Alone. 2, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And number 1, Christmas Vacation. Very nice. A good list there, Rob. And Adam says I'll be on. All right, buddy. We'll see you. Check in. Make sure you check in the rest of the week with the other shows also, buddy. So yeah, from everybody here at the Las Vegas Sports Network, myself, Vegas Rob, the mayor of Las Vegas, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you coming up very soon. Rob says, Ken Fry will be busy baking cookies for Santa. Absolutely, I will be. And yeah, so Merry Christmas. Rob, get well soon. I hope you feel better for the next show. Make sure you guys check me out Wednesday. The Bat Cave, a New York Mets baseball talk, with some other baseball news I'll go over. But that's all I got. Raider Nation, just win, baby, and peace out.